What is the story of Glensheen? It's a story of murder and mayhem.
This is the story of a tale we know well, of greed and murder as foul as we've seen.
It's about the killers, the victims. Elisabeth Congdon, Velma Pietila were the victims. The alleged murderer was Roger Caldwell. The alleged conspirator, his wife Marjorie Caldwell, who was Elisabeth Congdon's daughter. And the murders took place in June of 1977 at Glensheen on Duluth's Lake Superior. Somewhere around 3 in the morning, someone broke in, allegedly Roger, to the mansion, beat Velma to death with a candlestick, and then smothered Elisabeth in her bedroom. Ostensibly, the police thought it was a robbery. Very soon thereafter, they believed it was made to look like a robbery, and the real reason was to kill Elisabeth so that Marjorie, Roger's wife, would inherit her share of the great Congdon fortune. That's the first crime. But then there's the trial, and the second trial, and the acquittal, and the confession, and the following crimes, and the poisonings, and the fires, the arson. It goes on for about 20-some years.
What do I have to hide now anyway? Am I guilty? Where's the proof? I'll just go incognito for a day. These people, they haven't a clue.
History Theater was founded by Lynn Lohr and Lance Belleville back in the late 70s, right alongside Mixed Blood and Penumbra and the Illusion Theater. So all the founders came from this social justice world of the 60s and 70s. What makes the History Theater so unique is that our mission is so specific. We do the real stories of real people. My big concern was that we treated the victims of this family tragedy with respect. And I think in the playing of this, the more honest it is, the better. I think Jeff and Chan have written a brilliant play, and all of this is really pretty true to what happened.
Hello, everyone. I'm Marjorie Congdon. You're about to hear certain stories. Stories about this house, my family, me, things I'm supposed to have done. Some of which may cause you to ask, what could make a woman do such things?
Jeff and Chan have written a piece that will get people to talk about the issues that come up, whether it's mental illness or justice or greed or what have you.
I'll pretend I haven't sunk so low.
We'll buy a ranch with my mother's dough and run away, run away, run away.
I'll wear my boots, bring the horses in.
I'll put something special in your gin and run away.
Run away.
Run away.
Stranger things have happened.
Stranger things have happened.
People fall in love.
They fall in love. Such a strange attraction.
I don't feel so well.
I think there's something about the way you guys have written this piece is that all the characters are three-dimensional. The show is satirical and musically funny and moving and touching, and yet it's based on, human beings who are complex.
Roger and I are buying a ranch.
With what?
Cattle horses. Marge loves horses and
Oh,
riding
yes,
them. And
I know, but what I meant was, with what money are you buying this ranch?
That's me, isn't it? Yes, that's the question.
The music and the book are so unpredictable. I want the play to feel like that. I want it to be unpredictable and erratic, and because I think that's kind of the style of the play.
We've got to get rid of it.
The rental car?
No! The one thing in our way.
You mean your
Someone's gotta say it. Somebody with balls who's got the guts to say.
And be the one to say
What to do.
What to do.
Chan writes brilliant musical theater songs that have a dramatic action or elucidate a point you hadn't known before. And in most cases, either the plot is different at the end of the song or the audience's perception of the story and the people have changed by the end of a song.
We met earlier and said, let's have a song where Roger is on the airplane flying from Colorado up to Minnesota and thinking about this complex murder plot.
First the alibi on Mountain Time. Fly from Denver with a name not mine. It's so perfectly plotted, every second is allotted. The return flight leaves at 9. It's a perfectly plotted crime.
It's a cast of great singer actors. We talked at the opening rehearsal, we said, you know, these are people who are going to do outrageous things and say outrageous things, and yet you have to make us believe that these are honest and real, heartfelt emotions.
If the audience doesn't connect to Marjorie and Roger, then you've got nothing. They can't connect to the desire to commit murder, but they have to connect to desperation, the need to do something, even greed.
When we started this process, we realized that we had to find somebody that had some sort of human, empathetic quality, albeit it's been difficult to find. And I have felt the audience, and I can hear applause, but I can hear the reticence of, I want to applaud her, but I really don't want to applaud the character. And that is rewarding.
Objection! Absolutely, John and me, affirmative, Al. She's the only one for me. She's my best pal.
Now, as to what we talked about, remember, it's your fate.
You better dodge her, Roger, before it's too late.
I think Roger was aware that he was not as smart as people around him, and he was easily drawn into the influence of people who were, like Marjorie. And it's very interesting to portray a person who I see as not only a villain and a perpetrator, but also a victim.
I had such loving parents, and I loved them, as a daughter should.
Wendy Laird has the dignity to play Elisabeth. She has the kind of straightforward likability and sweetness to play Velma. And she has the crazies where she can play the attorney.
The state wants you to believe that my client was a criminal mastermind who orchestrated a plot of such devious complexity and split-second timing and entrusted its execution to Roger Caldwell.
Aside from the murders, it does bring up lots of questions about the justice system in Minnesota.
We're the jury that just acquitted you.
Miss Congdon Caldwell, we were hoping that now that your trial is over, you might join us at our party.
Party? If you're free.
Which, thanks to us,
You are!
The murders are almost 40 years ago, but that means that children, nephews, nieces, grandchildren of the two victims are still here in the state of Minnesota. The play may have a lot of humor in it, but we never wanted to forget them. In fact, we wanted to strategically remember them.
Well, hello, good evening. My name is Velma, was a nurse for over 40 years. I worked hard, I was a good nurse until I retired. Hooray! My husband cheers.
There's always going to be dramatic license, but for the most part, our goal is to try to be honest to the history that we're dealing with. I think that's what's so interesting about theater. It's an agent for change, to make the world a better place. If we understand our past better, then maybe the future will be a little brighter for us.
This is the story, a tale we know well, of greed and murder as foul as we've seen. Gruesome and gory, the spirits still dwell in the halls of haunted Glensheen. In the halls of haunted Glensheen. In the halls of haunted Glen.
Welcome to Glensheen.